This is really your last chance, Johnny.
The new Cobra Kai season came with a number of perfect fight scenes, action, and of course drama. And in the final moment of the season, we see Daniel and Johnny teaming up. Who would have thought that the Miyagi-Do dojo would team up with the Eagle Fang to fight against the Cobra Kai? Just like it sounds, it was a truly epic moment on the show and gave us more reasons to be obsessed with the show. Now, like the first two seasons, Cobra Kai Season 3 is filled with an array of references to the Karate Kid, which is the source material for the show. If you haven't seen the third season, you might want to take a step back because this video will definitely contain spoilers. And if you haven't seen the Karate Kid movies released in the 80s, you should definitely do so as soon as possible. With that out of the way, let's take a look at all the Easter eggs you might have missed in the third season of Cobra Kai. But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We are giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Okinawa. Okinawa is the name of the place Daniel visits for his business trip. Interestingly, it's the same location the sequel of Karate Kid in 1986 took place. But that's not all. In the sequel, there were a number of characters such as Kumiko and Chozen, who appeared in the 1986 classic. The same actors who played these roles in the sequel also appeared on the show as the same characters. Tamlin Tomita played the role of Kumiko, while Yuji Okumoto played Chozen. On the show, they reprised their roles after 35 years. Furthermore, the directors of the show cast Tracy Toguchi, who was the little girl that was saved from a dangerous wind in The Karate Kid Part 2. Also, all the flashbacks and hand drums shown in Okinawa are a direct reference to the film. The hand drum technique was also the technique Daniel used to defeat Chozen in The Karate Kid. It is also interesting to know that the 1947 Ford, which we see in the Cobra Kai Season 3, was a birthday present to Daniel from Mr. Miyagi, his mentor and teacher in the Karate Kid movie franchise. Also, you should know that the studio gave Ralph Mucchio the car as a present. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Is a classic line from the critically acclaimed movie Back to the Future. On the show, there is an overt reference to the movie, and it is found in the flashback scene that showed how John Kreese became a bully. In the second episode of the show, the episode titled Nature vs. Nurture, the directors try to achieve a shot-by-shot recreation of a scene from Back to the Future. In the original source, George McFly is bullied by Biff in a 50s diner. On the show, Kreese plays the role of a waiter who is bullied by a figure that bears a sort of resemblance to Biff and is also a bully. Kreese is tripped to the floor, and the entire diner laughs at him. In the original source and on the show, the line, "What are you looking at?" is used. Quite the directing, John Hurwitz. A reference to William Zabka bully roles. William Zabka as Johnny Lawrence in Karate Kid was the perfect bully. He had a hot temper and was ready to fight at any occasion. After Karate Kid, he starred in a number of other movies, still playing the role of a bully. In fact, hardcore 80s movies fans will remember how he and the roles of bullies became synonymous. Perhaps as a tribute, there are a number of references to the trio of bully roles he played in the 80s. In the fifth episode of Season 3, Johnny wears a radical jean jacket, which immediately reminds us of the jacket he wore in the 1985 comedy Just One of the Guys, where he played the role of Greg Tolan, a bully. In the next episode, we also see Johnny going back to West Valley High, and this could be a strong reference to his character of Chaz, a ruthless bully in the 1986 movie Back to School. Remember Tango and Cash? Raymond Tango and Gabriel Cash were two narcotics officers in the 1985 film Tango and Cash. The officers were tasked with bringing down a drug lord and exposing his long chain of crimes. In the second episode of the show, Nature vs. Nurture, Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence finally put their differences aside and joined forces. Together, they go on a journey to find Robby, whose dangerous kick had put Miguel in a coma. While they are driving through Los Angeles, Amanda, the wife of Daniel, makes a reference to the cop film of 1989, but she clearly meant hers as an insult to the shocking team-up of both men. A reference to Platoon. Platoon, which was written and directed by Oliver Stone, was the third highest-grossing movie of 1986. The movie focused on the war in Vietnam, on a platoon of American soldiers who fight and die in the jungles of the country. It attempted to expose the pointlessness of the entire struggle, and even the immorality of political leaders. This explains why the directors of Cobra Kai decided this was the perfect reference to explain how Kreese developed his no mercy mantra. In the flashback scene in the sixth episode, we see that Kreese had watched one of his friends, another soldier, get executed right before his eyes. Kreese had been in Vietnam, and his time there had changed him to become completely evil. A nod to an online theory. Fans have consistently theorized that Daniel was the real bully of the Karate Kid. A common example is the beach scene in the movie, where fans said Daniel was in fact the aggressor, and not Johnny. Also, the Halloween prank and soccer field attack on Bobby by Daniel were really not necessary, and it showed that Daniel was not a complete saint. The third season of Cobra Kai plays with this theory. In a scene, Daniel says, "When I went to school here, I was bullied and karate Karate saved me. Almost immediately, a man off-screen replied, I heard you were the real bully. Want to know something more interesting? The voice off-screen is that of Josh Heald, a co-creator of the show. A musical reference. Miguel suffers a tragic fall in his fight with Robby, and he falls into a coma. Fortunately, he survives it, but he has to learn how to walk again. In the 5th episode of Season 3, Johnny puts in a lot of effort to help Miguel walk again, and he sure uses a number of very unconventional methods. During one of the training sessions, he dangles a 1988 swimsuit magazine before Miguel's face to push him to try harder in moving his lower limbs. While this goes on, an iconic school bus song plays in the background. It is Oh Yeah by Yellow, and it is from the end of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, a teen comedy from 1986. Another Karate Kid reference. There have been several rumors that Sean Kanan will reprise his role as Mike Barnes from the movie The Karate Kid 3. In the movie, Mike Barnes was hired by Terry Silver to defeat Daniel in the tournament. In exchange, Barnes would get a 25% ownership in the Cobra Kai dojo. There have also been flashback scenes where we see Daniel fighting Mike Barnes. However, that is not all. Terry Silver, who is a friend and war buddy of Kreese, has also made a number of cameo appearances in the series. In The Karate Kid Part 3, Terry Silver was the main antagonist in the movie. There is also a nod towards Mr. Miyagi, the teacher and mentor of Daniel LaRusso in the Karate Kid franchise. In the Season 3 of the show, Kreese says, You know, it's a shame what happened at the school. Such a tragedy. But I don't blame Robby. You know what they say. There's no such thing as a bad student. This line was a direct reference to what Mr. Miyagi used to say. No such thing as bad student, only bad teacher. Kreese also makes another reference to Daniel's mentor, calling him a little bastard and wishing he could see the look on his face. Daniel quickly corrected him, saying that this little bastard kicked his ass twice. This is a nod to the fights between Mr. Miyagi and Kreese at the beginning of Karate Kid 2 and towards the end of the last movie in the franchise, The Karate Kid 3. On both occasions, Kreese lost the fight. There is another reference to Mr. Miyagi, but this is quite conjectural. In the 3rd episode of the show, Robby is reading a book, The Lord of the Flies, while he is at the SJDC. It could be that Robby just loves the book, but it could also be a sly reference to the fact that Mr. Miyagi used to try to catch flies with chopsticks. Lastly, there's another really funny reference to the 80s classic. In episode 9 of the new season, Sam LaRusso says to her father, Come on, Dad, it's not 1984. Interestingly, The Karate Kid premiered in 1984. Cool, right? The bonsai tree. If you've seen all the movies in the Karate Kid franchise, then you know that the bonsai tree is a very significant part of the movie. Mr. Miyagi and Daniel even went as far as starting a business known as Mr. Miyagi's Little Trees. As a sort of tribute, there is a tree in the episode 4 of Season 3, in the Cobra Kai training exercise scene. The tree, of course, is a bonsai tree. We know there still exists a ton of Easter eggs we may have missed out on. If you discover any, do not hesitate to tell us about it in the comments section. And with that, we wrap up this video. Thank you for watching.